Okay, try to keep up.
Okay, my name's Andrea. I'm another trans woman. Try to keep up with me, okay?
I am a 47-year-old biological man.
I'm not going to argue that you aren't a biological man, because I'm not winning that argument. And quite technically, I think that the term you're looking for is assigned male at birth, or AMAB. I will also say that I have never personally heard the term biological man used for anyone except for transgender women. I've just never personally seen someone who has always identified as male is a man being referred to as a biological man. You could also be assigned some sort of intersex condition at birth, then later come out as a trans woman. But let's continue and see what you have to say, and I'll see if I have anything to say about it.
I am been on hormones for a year, a little over a year.
Okay, so you're transitioning. That makes you, by definition, a trans woman. The terms trans or transgender are actually a blanket term for both trans men and trans women, so you have to specify which one. And the term that you use is determined on what you are trying to portray to yourself and others that you are. So for instance, I'd also be a trans woman. So the term trans is the root part of a word that is considered a descriptor word before the term woman or man.
I just had my boobs done. I've had one facial surgery. I am not going to have bottom surgery. I'm going to do one more face surgery on the bottom of my chin.
You do know that you're allowed to say that you're a trans woman, right?
I am transitioning to look as much like a female as I can. That's the way I've wanted to be my whole life.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Because from what I can tell so far is that you do not like the idea of calling yourself a woman. You don't like the idea of calling yourself a kind of a woman or a transgender woman. You don't like the idea of saying that in any context at all. You've had a few surgeries here, and you don't want gender reassignment surgery. That's cool, that's okay. It's not for everyone.
I understand that I cannot ever be a biological female.
Okay, that was never the idea. We are all very aware of the bodies that we do have. And we're definitely not saying that trans women can give birth to babies. Well, it may be possible at some point to have uterus transplants, but having and creating eggs and using our own chemical processes in our own body to create a child just isn't something that's on the books for us. I mean, science is sciencing. I don't think there's anyone out here saying that we have the full reproductive qualities of a woman or full reproductive qualities of a man. I don't think that that's happening. I don't personally know anyone, and I know hundreds and hundreds of trans people. Also, it's completely fine to say cisgender.
For those of you people that cannot define what a female is, realize that you're part of the problem, okay? A female is someone who was born a female with X chromosomes and can have babies and can give birth and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's what we call female. That is a sex. Being a woman is a gender. Again, it doesn't seem like you want to call yourself a woman or a kind of a woman. It's not wrong to consider yourself to be that, even if you don't check off all the boxes.
For the idiots out there that say that some men can have babies because they're trans men, well, that's because they're a biological woman. So let's stop all the nonsense and stop all the bullshit.
Ever heard of Swyer syndrome? XY chromosomes usually don't find out their chromosomes, but they develop as female. There's usually some sort of IVF involved, but there's been 15 to 20 of these quote-unquote XY females who have given birth. Now, I have a friend that is XXXY, who is one of 4 people with the same chromosomes to become pregnant in 2021. Has a sewed-up vagina from when she was little, has an external penis, but there is still a pathway to get to her fallopian tubes and uterus. That is anything more than just a tiny little thingy, and there's no vagina. Anyways, not gonna bore you too much about it. Y'all have Google, but there aren't trans men out there that are denying that they can get pregnant. Now, there is surgery to remove your uterus and to remove your ovaries, to remove everything that's in there, basically, essentially. And there's also phalloplasty. Hormones tend to slow down or stop your period. Some trans men take birth control because hormones don't stop their period entirely. I mean, it feels like you are oblivious. I mean, you're putting all this out there, sharing this all, but what I'm hearing from you is it doesn't seem like there's a deep yearning to wanting to have been born female. I'm not feeling like when you went through your first puberty, it gave you a lot of distress or extreme intense dysphoria, and it doesn't seem like you're too horribly bad off now. Although I do feel that your ideas are pretty black and white, and while dysphoria isn't necessarily a part of being trans, you don't need to have dysphoria. You don't need to have that deep yearning to be trans. You don't need it. I can't say that for myself or many of my trans friends, because I personally suffered so much with self-love and still continue to this day, but it's better than it was. It's a lot better than it was. And I'm taking the actions, the hormones, the surgery, I'm taking all those to better my mind and my soul. But I'm willing to bet that you don't benefit from this, or what seems like you don't have the dysphoria. I'm actually willing to bet that you are mistreated because of it. The amount of misjudgment that I feel like you would have being from the same community that you and I are both in. After all, it does seem like you have a quite conservative take on your gender, and I'm more on the liberal side, maybe a little bit past middle of the road liberal. And that's not what I really want to focus on here. The fact of the matter is that we are both trans women. We're both transgender women. Even though I feel like you can't say the word, that you can't say that you are, because at the end of the day, it is the same group that is being targeted by American legislators. It's the same legislation that wants both of us behind bars in certain states for just using the women's bathroom. If someone just happened to have a vendetta or clocks you, or if you're in Kansas, you could be sued. Both of us could be sued. We're in the same group. Now, in saying this, I am assuming that you use the women's restroom. I don't know if you use the women's restroom personally. It's your own thing. It's about your personal safety and if you feel comfortable using it. But with you putting out a much different message than most of the people in the trans community are, I feel like it would put you at a much higher chance of unquestionable violence, because it's no secret that we're just not accepted by many parts of our country. Although something's telling me that with being as big as you are, you don't have the same chance of being messed with as compared to myself if I were to have conservative views of being trans. And speaking about my transness in a form of black and white terms that you use, I can assure you that you probably have a little bit of privilege being built the way you are. Now, I'm sure that it's possible to still see violence, and I'm not someone who wishes violence on anyone, ever. But me and you will both go down at the same time when our rights go to zilch in our country. And the conservative trans people aren't going to be treated any different at the end of the day. It's literally you're with us or you're with us. The law won't be sparing anyone who has more conservative views. Trans is trans, and we are a problem to them regardless of how we think about it. Now, I do believe there's a line that needs to be set between hurting others in the community, no matter how odd or different from my views that I feel like they are. But we're sisters in the trans community, regardless if you consider yourself trans, because you fit the definition of being a trans woman just as much as myself. We're both in the same boat. We're in the same boat. But I have a life preserver and you have a lifeboat.
I don't care about pronouns.
While I do respect that you don't care about pronouns, that isn't the case for everyone. For me personally, as long as someone's looking at the front of my face like this, I read as 90% femme, and so people address me as she most of the time. Now, if someone's seeing me from the side and they catch this in it, that I have to go in for a revision later on this year, that number does drop a little bit. And I personally don't believe that you can always tell when it comes to trans people. I don't think that you can. And I truly do enjoy it when someone says that strangers can't misgender them because they present as androgynous 100% of the time, accentuating both beards and makeup and boobs and dresses, or just the ones that simply do not care what you call them.
My biological name and my legal name is David. The name I like and prefer to use is Daviana, so feel free to call me that.
Okay, I'm not going to stop here in the way that you think that I am. Just hold on a second. So here's my takeaway. I couldn't have gone through a full breast augmentation or one or more facial surgeries with my own name on it. Now, I know that it's a very expensive and time-consuming thing, and that a personal thing, it's not for everyone. Trust me, I've been there and it took over a year, but that's honestly because the last half I was kind of just a little lazy about it. But I do feel like the doctors and nurses could have been able to better take care of you if you had Daviana on your hospital bracelet. I don't know, maybe your hospital has a way to insert Daviana or your preferred name into your hospital bracelet. I don't know the details, and I truly hope that the nurses didn't give you any flack when you were in recovery. And I am very happy that you don't share the same intense removal from your old name that so many trans people just can't even speak that name, having to avoid certain relatives or holidays entirely, even after they have their name legally changed. It's a pain that I am so happy that you don't feel, and I feel like you should be able to say from the start, please call me Daviana. Please call me that. That is my chosen name, my preferred name. I feel like that would be your attitude if it wasn't black and white thinking, as I feel it is. Now, my old legal name, my old dead name is available online. It's on some of my older videos. I wasn't able to get rid of all that presence without deleting everything. I started making videos in 2011 when I was 15 and went till 2015 under my old name, and then I switched my name on YouTube. Started on TikTok in 2025 and have recently in the past month been cross-posting to both TikTok and YouTube. So I don't feel like it's possible to rid my old name from the internet, but at the same time, I don't announce that name, I don't say that name, I don't associate with that name, I don't tell people that name. People don't have the right to ask me for that name. It's a name that stays in the past.
Ask me any questions you want, I'll answer them.
In the end, I do wish you every bit of success, every bit of happiness in your life, all that jazz. Just please, please, please take care of yourself, Sister Daviana, and protect your safety. I'm wondering what your thoughts are, what your reaction is to what I've said. I'm not sure if you'd even consider making a reply video to this, and I'm not entirely sure how this all works because this is only the second reply video I've ever done. Now, I had collaboration videos with people 2011, 2015. I did have collaborations then, but that's way different platform. Everything's different. But at the very least, please, please give some thought to what I've said.
Bye.
Okay, bye, and goodbye, my wonderful gals, guys, and everybody in between. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope the rest of your week's gonna be great, and I will see you very, very soon. Love ya. Mwah.